Welcome back to the Compelled Podcast. This is episode 111.
Correct, Mundo.
111. I want to apologize right now. I didn't pack my mic. Okay, didn't pack my mic to go to Cincinnati. It was a 4-day trip, and I forgot. And I apologize. I'm mad at myself, and I'm taking full responsibility. I'm not trying to hide it from you guys. I forgot my mic, and I'm sorry.
I mean, that shows a lack of commitment, and that's sad.
That's true.
It is sad.
That's true.
I expect better.
I will take all of the criticism. Well, we're going to start. We're presented by Parse Rum. I love Parse. You love Parse. Let's talk about Parse. It's the best. Did you know, we haven't said this in a while, when you have a bottle of Parse, purchase a bottle of Parse, drink a bottle of Parse, you then plant a tree in Colombia.
So you're saving the world. Sorry. Oops. You're enjoying a nice bottle of rum, and you're saving the world at the same time.
I love the planet. Can we start the episode by talking about something that I'm very excited to hear about because I just found out about it. Dakota's first ejection.
It was such a weak one, though. Like, that's the worst part is it was weak. Like, it didn't even warrant an ejection. I'll break it down for you.
Wait,
I'll tell you
real quick. You didn't get your money's worth at the end?
No, I will explain to you why.
No, I'm disappointed.
So I'm pitching. I throw. This was on Sunday, yesterday, or 2 days ago. Yesterday. It's Monday day. And I throw one inning. It's a good inning. Come back out for my next inning. First pitch, ball. Second pitch, directly down the middle of the plate. Ball. And I am like frozen on the mound. I'm like, wait a second. Did he forget to call a strike? Nope. Next pitch, double down the line. I'm not saying that that's why I gave up a double, but as a hitter, you would agree a 2-0 count and a 1-1 count are completely different approaches.
Completely different.
So then he hits a double, and I'm getting a new ball from the ump, and I go, there's no way that 1-0 just missed. And he goes, I had it down. I'm like, that's not down. I go, you missed it. Get back on the rubber. Face the next guy. I have like a 2-1 count. I throw a fastball in. I thought it was borderline. Of course, she called it a ball. I'm like, this guy's not going to give me anything. End up walking that guy. PV comes out to take me out. I give PV the ball. I start walking in towards the dugout, and I'm like, that's horrible. I'm like, you know how horrible that is. You can't miss that. And he's like just like waving me away, whatever. And I'm like, just wait till you see the film. You'll see how bad that really was. And he goes, you're gone. I'm like, okay. And I just like wave at him, or I like wave him off of my glove. I'm like, whatever, man. And I walk in the dugout. That's all it was.
That
I
stinks.
didn't swear at him.
That
I didn't say anything. I
stinks.
literally said, wait till you see the film. You'll see how bad that is.
I wish you would have bum rushed him then after and given him the chest action.
I was walking third base dugout. He was over on the first base line, and I was like past the foul line. I'm like, am I going to run across the field and cause a scene? Whatever.
Yes. Did you walk from the dugout to the clubhouse in left field?
You have to. You can't stay in the dugout.
No, I know. Did you walk or did you jog?
No, I walked. Well, we had a pitching change going on, so it didn't cost any time. But if not for our pitcher, I would have jogged because like you don't want to slow down your guy. But it was just so like he went to throw me out, and I chuckled almost. I was like, that's it. That's all I had to say was wait till you see the film. And I was like, okay. And
that would have been a good chirp if you would have got up in his face. All I just say was.
And I saw the Ivy of it today. It was a 98.4% strike. And I was like, okay, it was warranted. I don't feel bad at all.
Was the borderline call a strike?
No, it was inside. I thought it was like close, but I was like, I wasn't arguing that one. I was arguing the ball that I was like, this is directly down the middle. It was 98.4.
Did your bullpen friend get out of it with no runs for you?
It was Eric Uhlman, and they bunted, and then they did an intentional walk, 1 out, bases loaded. He walked the guy on 4 pitches, and then got the next 2 guys out. So he scored one of them, and he goes, can I pay your fine? I go, did you try to walk that guy in? He goes, no. I'm like, then no, you can't. I'm like, you didn't try to do it. Don't apologize to me.
That's got to be tough as a reliever when you don't get to finish an inning with your guys on base. Is that like the worst part about being a reliever?
I'm never, ever going to blame someone that comes in after me. Like, I shouldn't let someone on base. It's my fault.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, he said sorry, and I'm like, you don't have to say sorry. Like, that's like the common courtesy to say sorry, and like, you go up and say my bad if you gave up someone's run, but like no one's trying to do it.
That's so wild that there's like runs can get charged to you for something that's you're not even on the field.
That's
and it's nuts like the other way too. When you come in and somebody else has their runs on base, and like maybe you give up a single or walk a guy, and then you get the next couple dudes out, and you're like, kind of a good outing for me.
Yeah.
Thanks for that guy.
Well, we had one the other day where it was second and third, 2 outs, and a guy came in and he got a first pitch pop up to third, and our third baseman dropped it and both runs scored, and they're unearned, but like on the stats for like inherited runners and inherited runners scored, it counts as both runners scored.
No shit.
So like it looks like the reliever didn't do his job, but it's like, I mean, he got a pop up on the very first pitch.
Ew.
Yeah, that's a tough one to swallow. It's like, well, not my fault. But no, I felt kind of cool. Dixon Machado was very proud of me. He said I'm a man now. But
there's no way he has one. There's no way he has one.
Everyone told me I should have went and said more, and I was just like, and the thing is, like, Nelson Maldonado was playing first, so he was on the mound, and he asked me, he's like, I heard what you said. He's like, you didn't even say anything. I'm like, exactly. That's why when he threw me out, I was like, all right, man, you got me. I'm already out of the game. You got me. Big tough guy.
It's so weird. Like when I got thrown out, I was like arguing after I got thrown out, and I was like, I look like such an asshole right now.
That's exactly. I was like, I feel like I just look like an asshole if I go over there and argue. I'm like, I'm already out of the game. There's a new pitcher already in. Like, what's the point? I don't care.
I felt great about my ejection.
Yours was
in the show. In the show, it's cooler though, because in the show, like, it gets the crowd riled up if you get in the ump's face and you're like, no, like Willie's, like that was sick.
The only thing I remember from yours, Hap, which sucks, is that you guys are wearing those stupid white jerseys.
And
then your Instagram post about it.
Yeah, the Players Weekend. Bad jerseys for MLB there on the Players Weekend. Whew. I was going to say something else about ejections. Oh, it reminded me of today. Joey argued a little bit, but Votto got punched out. Chris Martin punched him out on a heater away, and he took it. And as soon as he took it, I was like, that's a ball. There's no way. Joey doesn't take strikes. Like, if Joey takes it, it's a ball. And I went and looked at the iPad right after. It was like a good 2 balls off, and he was pissed.
Did you throw it out?
No.
Well, that's what Frazier was telling me. Clint Frazier was here rehab and told me in the locker room after. He's like, yeah, like guys like go in and look at the iPad and then say that to the umpire. And he's like, there's like a message from the league, like, you guys need to stop doing this or we'll take away the iPads. Like,
there's guys who
you can't go look at it.
As soon as they see it, they hold it up. They're like, I told you it's a fucking ball.
Oops, is it a little top sign? Oops.
I don't know. We weren't, I didn't feel like we were one of the teams that was doing that, but I got the memo. And then they took the broadcast view away from us until the next inning, which stinks because like we were getting the bat one batter later, right? So you whatever.
No shit. This year they had that?
Well, yeah, and then you get in the dugout and your bat's up so you can watch the video. And then they just took away the broadcast view with the K-zone. So now you can only see the center field camera. Then you can still see the side view. And then the inning after that, it loads the broadcast view. So like guys have an inning to go cool down the field.
That's wasn't that what it was last year?
Last year you could not see the at bat until the next inning.
Yeah, that's what right. Wow, that's dope that they had it that inning this year.
I know. Cool. And then it got taken away, which stinks. So now like if you want to know right before you go out to the field, you can't know.
This is I said I had a topic I wanted to talk about. This is what I actually want to talk about. So I'm kind of glad we got here naturally. I don't know if you saw, Ian, Anthony Rizzo, your friend, Tony Riz, ejected for the 3rd time in his career. We were watching here in the office, one of the weirdest ejections I've ever seen because he strikes out, right? Strikes out. The game moves on. First pitch to the next batter, I believe it was Judge.
I think it was Giancarlo.
Yeah,
well,
Stan.
Whoever it was, first pitch, next batter, then he gets ejected. So that was, I mean, we were trying to, because like nobody on the Yes broadcast, nobody could seem to figure out what was going on. It was one of the weirdest ejections I've seen.
I haven't actually specifically talked to Tony about this, but what I saw happen was, so there's 2 balls below the zone that Tony took. And one of Tony's power lines to umpires is like I have a good eye. Like I've been around long enough and I have a good eye. So like when guys call balls on him,
That's
like
what
the first time he'll be like, hey man, because he knows all the umpires, he has good relationships. He's at first base, talks to all the guys and knows them all by name. And he'll be like, hey man, that's a ball. Or like, I didn't think it was there. And then if it happens again, it's like I'm known for making good decisions and getting on base. Like that about
That's
me.
what he was saying. I think John Boy did it, or someone like you could lip read it. He was just saying like I'm better than that.
Yeah.
I'm better. Like I know that's a ball.
Yeah. And so what happened was the first pitch of the at bat to Giancarlo was a slider down, and he called it a ball. And Riz yelled from the dugouts. I think he yelled the same pitch.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same pitch. And then he got rung really quick for that, which was it was a quick ejection. And like it was I like umpires. I love all the umpires. I like when they're nice to me and make good calls. It was a little bit of like a rabbit ears moment where he's yelled something and then just got tossed right away. But there might have been other stuff happening where somebody from the dugout was yelling profanities and then Riz's voice stuck out and then he got tossed.
That one's kind of weird though, because you yell when your teammate's up there and the ump should be like, what? Do you want me to fucking call that one a strike too on him? Like, you want me to fuck him as I fucked you?
Are you calling Tony Riz a bad teammate?
No, not. Nope.
Heard it here first. Zach Short says
Ooh.
Tony Riz bad teammate.
Well, I don't know if he is a good or bad one.
But
Don't know.
that's what I was gonna say. Like umps, they have weird trigger points that I get they take a lot of shit. Like, don't get me wrong, we give them a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And their job is hard. But there are some times where it's like, if you don't like cuss them out, like you gotta let it go. Like if I'm not sitting there like F you, like that's BS. Like if you're just questioning it, like I get you can't say you can't like say things personal to them, but it's like you gotta allow the chirping a little bit.
This is what I was going to ask about. I'm really curious because they were talking about this night in the Yankee broadcast. Judge in particular, Yankee fans feel like that he's been getting the low strike because he's 6'7". Boone got ejected a couple weeks ago yelling he's 6 blank and 7. I'm curious. I mean, you guys can talk about this from both the pitcher and hitter side. They were talking about Paul O'Neill was doing the game tonight, talking about how a lot of guys won't look back, but they'll say something to the umpires and that looking back, showing up the umpires. I'm just curious for all you guys, when you have a pitch that you like, as you said, Dakota, that you think's there. I know it's a little different for you because you're on the mound. So maybe we'll start with Ian and the hitters. But like when you think a pitch is there, and you feel like you need to say something, how do you go about doing that?
I can tell you how Zach goes about it.
No, that's changed.
The hand goes right to the hip, and he adjusts the pants a little bit and shakes his head, and then asks him if that's outside.
No, I haven't done that. I don't do that anymore. I truly do not do it. I turn around. I like make a face. I'm like, is that it there? Is that all we're going? And then he was like, yeah. Or he's like, if he says like, there's a little more, I'm like, there's no way.
You're like, no, that can't be right.
Then you're checking your eyes. Like,
yeah.
All I do is once I finish my motion, if I think it's a strike and he calls it a ball, I'll just like stay frozen for a second. I'm like, what? Huh? And then I just get the ball back. But like, I don't ever like put my hands up or anything. I'm like frozen. Like, no, like that's a strike.
I don't. If it's a borderline call and I think it's a ball, I will generally, as early in the at bat, ask if it's the corner. Like, is that the edge? And if he says that's the edge, I try to establish like, all right, that's the corner. So if you go any farther, now I can get mad at you. Now you've given me the ability to get mad at you. And so like, I'll ask if that's the corner or the bottom or the top or whatever. If I very much disagree, especially like if it's a bad call or if like I'm trying to stay off the inside pitch and he calls one in and like I felt like I was disciplined and he called the ball that I'm trying to take, which is frustrating. I don't look at him. I'll go my head down and like, nope, absolutely not. That's a ball. Like, I'll just hit like a hard, like, nope, that's not a strike. That's not a strike. If I really want to make sure that it's not, but I have 2 at bat stories recently. Actually, I came in to pinch hit the other night against Mantiply from Arizona. He goes heater away, just off, strike 1. And I just look back. It's like, is that the corner? Like, yep, that's right in the corner. All right. Next pitch is definitely farther off. I know it's farther off. Strike 2. Now it's 0-2. And I looked back at him. It was like, you just told me that was a corner. Come on. You can't go any farther. And I think he kind of knew it. And he was kind of like,
shit. Yeah, you're probably right.
That was I had a good one. I had one like that this year. Like I was like, is that as far as you're going? Whatever. And then he throws a slider again, like same pitch, like a little bit further. It was on. I checked it on our app, and I was like, what the fuck? You just told me I was as far as you were going. You can't go further than that. And he was like, no, same exact pitch. And I'm like, there's no
It's
way
not.
it's the same exact pitch.
It's easier for hitters definitely to be able to not show up the ump and still like get your point across. Like you missed that. Like I think you missed that. And like for pitchers, it's like you can't really like because the only way you can yell to him like, oh, is that out or something like that? But it's like everyone can see you.
I think as a pitcher, you have to trust your catcher too. You just have to trust your catcher is gonna.
Yes.
I will say, I hate when like it's a ball, the catcher sticks it or whatever, and he's just like asking the ump like, Jerry, where'd you have that? And I want to look back. Like there was one where we had like a sidearm lefty throwing against us, and he was throwing like this big sweeping curveball. I'm like, I checked out of it super early. I was like, oh, sick. Like, okay, got it to full count. I started 0-2. It was like a backdoor slider. Wasn't even close. And he like holds it there for like a good like 2 to 3 seconds. And I like drop my bat and I'm looking at him like, bro, that's not close. Like throw the fucking ball back. And then like he's asking the ump, he's like, where did you have that? Did you have that down or out? And I'm like, both. What?
I very rarely chirp at catchers, but if there's a guy
that's asking to get hit,
who's trying to, if there's a guy who's trying like so hard to frame shit and asking the ump, there has been a couple times, literally just a couple in my career where I've been like, what? I like literally like where is that? Like it's a fucking ball. Like shut up. There was another one for me in the Arizona series. The only time that I really, really get upset about strike calls, like I kind of brush off early in the count strike calls. Sometimes they change too bad and it's frustrating, but I brush them off. 3-2 strike calls because it's a walk or a strikeout, and that's a huge difference.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a 3-2 count against somebody from the D-backs at home. And it was a cutter slider pitch down, middle down. And I was pissed because those ones, when you're grinding out in a bat, 6, 7, 8 pitch at bat, and then you get rung up on a pitch that it's a ball to you. Ooh.
Did you see the one though? I think it was like a week and a half ago, the Max Muncy one that was literally a fastball right down the middle. And he argued it in the.
You know what happened though?
What?
The pitcher didn't come set, and so he was arguing that.
Oh, I thought he was arguing that it was a strike, and like even the announcer's like, man, if he's arguing that one, I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, that was hilarious. And then later on, maybe somebody asked him to interview or something, but he was they figured
it looked
out
like he was arguing the strike, and it's like Max, like, come on, man, like the ump's like, what do you mean?
Hey, been there.
Can I ask you guys, so what is like the line for you guys? Like, obviously you're trying not to get thrown out. Dakota gets like, you didn't think you did enough to get thrown out. What is, is it just like the magic words? Is it cursing? What is usually the thing where you're like, I'm not going to do this unless I'm trying, like, unless I'm like, all right, I'm getting thrown out of this case.
Zach's our resident bad boy. So ask him. He's been ejected a couple times. Hey, also real quick, back to my ejection. I got a text from Mrs. Short, Dakota blank Mekis. And I was like, I didn't swear, Mrs. Short. I promise.
She hates that. I don't know why. Like,
I told her, I said,
my
I'm not
dad
like
texted me. He goes, "What'd Dakota say?" And I told him. He goes, "LOL, nice."
I didn't even say anything bad. That's why I told her. I was like, I didn't swear.
No, I think the magic rule is like, obviously, if you keep going and they tell you to stop, like you're gonna get wrong. But like, if you direct it at them and say like you're horse shit or you're doing a horrible job, like that's an automatic. Like you're done. But like if you just say that's not a strike or like that,
you can say that's horseshit.
Yeah, you can't direct it. Horseshit. Yeah, you can't direct it at them. For the most part, they give you a pretty long leash to work with. Like you can get your point across. But like when I got thrown out, like looking back at it, I was like, I didn't leave the guy for like 15 seconds, and he kept telling me to go back, and I was just like, just tell me you missed it. And he's like, Zach, just go. And I was like, I just want to hear you say that you missed it. And he threw me out.
I just need to hear you say it. So I know that you missed it.
I think when you turn and like square up to the ump, like you're going to get tossed. And I also think like there's a progression to it. Like if you're getting on him during the at bat, like what happened to Wilson, like if you're getting on him during the at bat and then you get rung up and then you continue to chirp, like he's already probably a little hot. And so you have to be careful with that. But if you haven't really, nothing happened before that or the at bat or whatever, you can get pretty animated and still stay in the game. You just have to be smart about it.
Like if I'm the ump, like if I did miss it and like in the back of their head, like they have to know on some, like I missed that. Tell me you missed that and you diffuse the situation instantly.
Yeah.
I cannot continue to argue with you if you look at me and say, that's my bad, I missed it. Then I'd be like, okay, I got to go in the dugout. Like I can't say anything else. Like what am I going to yell at you and be like,
you missed it.
You're not allowed to miss it. You're not allowed to. Like I wouldn't say a word. I'd be like, all right, fair enough.
Two things when I got thrown out. I thought I called him the wrong name. His name, his name was Jim or whatever it was. I thought I knew in the back of my mind his name was Jim, but like as I said Jim, like and I was arguing, I was like, oh my God, I just called him the wrong name. I was like, it's not
You wanted to
name.
stop and apologize real quick?
Yeah. And then like during it, like I was just pissed. I was struggling towards the end of the year. And like as I was arguing, I was like, I really hope that was a ball. Like as if it wasn't, I'm gonna look like such an asshole. And it
has to be a ball. It has to.
Oh
be.
yeah, it has to be. And it ended up being like a 20%, which is higher than I thought it was, but I was like, still a ball.
That's what I told everyone yesterday. I was telling Jared Young, he's like, are you sure it was a strike? I go, I am absolutely positive. I said, if it's any lower than 95% strike, I will be shocked.
Yeah.
It was 98. So I was like, okay, I feel validated.